What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So today I have a very interesting topic to discuss, given that this is going around in the internet, which of course is going to be the PC version of Call of Duty Mobile. So yes, you did hear me correctly. I know some of you guys may not have Twitter or may not be, around the news for this game, but there is going to be a PC version of this game. And I know a lot of you guys are probably wondering, don't we already have a PC version on this game for Game Loop? And yes, we do have that, but of course, it's only an emulator. Game Loop right now is currently the only emulator where you could kind of play COD Mobile on a PC, and it is aware. This game does register mouse and keyboard as, I think, the white controller symbol, while I guess regular controller symbols are usually just, yellow. And it was always a way for PC players, if they did not want to learn touch, to just play COD Mobile through just normal PC means. But of course, that came with a lot of different issues, and I know a few people that do play this game on emulators say that they come across a lot of different bugs. One of the famous bugs I've heard recently is the fact that sometimes the screen just goes black, or I guess the game just goes black, where it just, I guess the skybox turns that color or something, I don't know. There's just various different bugs like that that just make it just weird. And sometimes if you want to set up a controller, it could be extremely difficult. It is possible, but at the same time, very difficult. But at the end of the day, Game Loop version of COD Mobile isn't really made for PC as well as it should be. So what they're doing is that they're making a port, well, I guess a standalone port for the PC version that makes it a little bit more native. This simply means that the game is going to be less buggy. It's going to be made for the PC, so it runs very well without any issues. Of course, they do have some, you do need some prerequisites before you actually join this. You do need to have a certain type of level of graphics that your computer could handle in order to run the game well. But keep in mind, it's not going to make the game look that much better compared to what we have right now on mobile. It's just going to be slight improvements to anti-aliasing and, certain graphical settings. Don't expect to have graphics up to maybe PS5 level. It's more or less going to be the same, but of course a little bit more refined, given that PC is a pretty powerful device depending on what type of specs you have on that said PC. So like I said, it's going to have anti-aliasing, or I guess more advanced anti-aliasing for that specific version alone. And now that this is now officially going to be a thing, and so far it's only being tested right now in China. It's probably going to be tested, in more different regions later on. But, max graphics is starting to make a little bit more sense, because at first I was wondering why we even have an option like that, if even the iPad Pro itself, the M2 device, can't even support it yet. It can, but not in the most optimal way. You can't really run ultra frames or even max frames on it currently. It made me start to wonder why they even had this max graphics settings in the first place, if not even the strongest tablets could even handle it well. So now that we know that there's going to be a native PC version of this game coming out for that type of device, now I understand why it's going to be a thing. But at the same time, this also kind of opens the door of many possibilities, because as you guys know, since Microsoft has finally taken over Activision, they did say that they were going to make a lot more things happen with Nintendo-related devices, and given that we're already in 2024, the Switch 2 reveal is kind of imminent at the moment, so there is a chance that we might get some sort of port, maybe for the Switch 2 or something like that, because I did watch Merc Music's video, and they're just trying to make this game called Call of Duty, I guess, online or something like that. Basically, a general version of Call of Duty. If you could think of it as perhaps like Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, where they had all the characters from the past games, but just implemented into one game. It's kind of going to be like that. Of course, it's not truly guaranteed at the moment, and right now we're kind of at the early stages, but of course, there is a possibility that the Switch 2 may get a port at some point. Maybe not to the same degree as PC, where it's going to get 120 frames and all that stuff. Maybe it's going to be at lower frames, but, just compatible enough. And based on the specs on the Switch 2, we currently have, I think, its power being near the level of a PS4. So, of course, it's not going to be able to support, Modern Warfare 3 or, like Warzone level type of graphics, as well as, you know, maybe the PS5 would. So again, there is a good chance that COD Mobile might be a thing where it's just going to be a general Call of Duty game. And what worries me about this is that since this game itself is kind of like rooted more on the mobile side, and you know that there are mobile pro teams out there that compete every year for a lot of prize money, the fact that this game might become more of a general thing where mobile isn't really the only option, it makes me wonder what's going to happen to the mobile players, you know, especially the competitive ones that really made this game shine in the first place. Look, I'm not much of a touch player myself. You guys already know I play controller for the most part. But, I mean, we can't deny the mobile players are the real players of this game. So it kind of worries me that they're going to be phased out for, you know, I don't know. It feels like they're going to be phased out almost completely if this becomes a full thing. Of course, they could expand. You know, they could have a touch team. They could also have a PC team or a controller team or something like that. Maybe the competitive scene will expand in that capacity, but I'm not really that sure. I think earlier I did say in the video that, you know, it's going to be its own standalone thing. That's actually not true. It's going to still be connected just like Game Loop was with just, I guess, the rest of the player base. So just because this version is coming out to PC doesn't mean that they're just going to be alone. They're going to be alongside everyone else. So for all the PC players that may have bought all the battle passes, all the mythics, all the legendaries, and so on, and you know all that camo progress, it's going to be retained so long as you know your account password and everything. I also heard that it's going to be a lot more easier to install. There's not going to be as much configurations needed compared to the Game Loop version. So yeah, that's some pretty good news for PC. But obviously, I think the only thing that's not really going to change too much is the fact that you're going to have to download a shitload of content, kind of like how we do right now with like, I mean, this game right now is almost, I think, at 30 gigs or more. So yeah, I think they're still going to have to deal with that. But in terms of other configuration stuff, they're not going to have to deal with it. But that's every piece of news that we have so far for the PC version of Call of Duty Mobile. I am excited to try this out. I don't know if my PC itself is strong enough. Maybe if it is, I might be able to run it at a lower graphics quality setting. Keep in mind, I do have an office level PC, so I'm not really sure how well I could actually have it run. But weirdly enough, I think my monitor that I use for my PC is actually supported for 120 frames. So I don't know. It just depends on how my PC takes the whole thing. Because again, it's going to be like more of a native thing. So for all we know, like my PC might be more supported than I actually thought. So I don't know. We're just gonna have to wait and see what happens, but I will try it either way. But anyways, guys, have a wonderful day. Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section. I'll see you guys next time.